Welcome back, everyone, to the Geeks, Geezers, and Googlization Show, the home of Googlization Nation, where we talk with HR and business thought leaders about the crazy shift going on in the world of business, technology, and HR. Here's your host, Ira Wolfe, and co-host, Joyce Joya.
Hey, welcome back, everyone, to the Geeks, Geezers, and Googlization Show. Thank you for being part of Googlization Nation. If you're not subscribed to our newsletter yet, please do that. Go to Googlizationnation.com. You get weekly updates about the show, podcasts, webinars. Speaking of the webinar, you just heard about adaptability. The webinar replay is still available. So if you go to successperformancesolutions.com, right at the top, there's a button. And you can watch the replay. Fantastic conversation last week that we had with Heidi Spurge from Cornerstone On Demand, Ross Thornley, and Mary Faulkner from IAHR. Again, getting a tremendous amount of feedback. Some of the responses have just been very rewarding, and I highly encourage you to go up and read that. But right now, we're going to follow up with Thomas Michael Hogg. He wrote a new book, Profitable Growth Strategies, and what intrigued me, got a release, or I read something about it, talked about, and this fits into our conversation here, trying to accommodate not only women, but accommodate the multiple generations and flexible workplace. He said that the 4-day work week won't solve America's burnout epidemic, and we're certainly experiencing that. He brings some powerful lessons of what he's learned from working with German companies of why just saying we're going to go a 4-day work week, and maybe even going to the next step, and we'll talk about that. How do we, what's the new work week look like as we go to remote work?
In terms of hours, days, but it's going to be even more complicated because of COVID, because we're going to have a hybrid workplace, right?
Oh, absolutely. And we talk about management. Again, managers struggled with managing people when they showed up for work. what happens when they're now remote or some are remote? So hopefully we can, Roxy, if you can bring on.
Hey, Joyce, Ira, it's so nice to be with you.
Absolutely.
To be with you.
So are you in Mexico? Is that where you're?
Yeah, I'm here in Monterrey, Mexico, quite near to the border to Texas.
I love Monterrey.
So we're international today. Wonderful. So again, I appreciate you being here. It's the first time we've met. You mentioned, as I said, the one thing that caught my attention when I received the email was, again, this thing about the 4-day work week. And as organizations are trying to revise what does work look like, whether they're going remote, whether it's partially, whether it's hybrid, distributed work. I mean, but we've been talking about the 4-day work week for years. It's not the solution for everybody.
No, it's not. And I guess we should not only talk about the 4 days. I mean, in Germany, the unions, they are historically, they are very strong. And these strong unions, they push the 4 days week into the different companies and especially in the automotive industry. But also it was of the interest somehow of some of the automotive companies because it's also in kind of benefiting them. But I guess we should not only talk about the 4 hours week. It goes deeper. When I talk, it goes deeper. I mean, of course, it's about your work-life balance. It's about what's the HR strategy of a company. And you have to see this really much more holistic just than one topic. And then we talk about, home office. We talk about flexible hours, flex time. We talk about salary. But at the end of the day, as a company, you have to look deeper inside and see, how can you develop your people? How can you have a purposeful company where you have kind of this work-life balance?
So you identified 7 best practices. I'm not sure if we can get through all 7, but why don't we start with the most important ones? And I'd also be interested, hopefully we'll have a minute or two with this, or maybe you'll cover this, is what we were just talking about with Kate. with, when I think of German culture, I'm thinking that it's more of a masculine culture. And are some of the issues we're dealing with now with diversity and inclusion, are they ahead, or is that something they have to work on and as well? So,
talking about a little bit about first the 7 steps. When we talk about Germany, we talk about quality, and we talk about the quality brands. We know the automakers, and I work for Adidas in Germany, and we're really looking and striving for quality and innovation all the time. Your second question is so interesting, because from my point of view, when you have a chancellor like Angela Merkel leading our country, for me, it's kind of normal to have a kind of a female boss and a woman. So I guess this topic, or perhaps also a little bit personal point of view, but Angela Merkel and many female leaders have done a great job. Have done a great job, especially during the pandemic. Merkel, she did not underestimate the pandemic at the beginning, and she will leave office in some months after 16 years, and we do not know what's going to happen, because of course we will miss her, and the world will miss her, because she gives a great balance. So I guess in Germany, you kind of find obviously a lot of problems when we talk about boards. When we talk in the boards of directors, there are also, my personal opinion, there are too many men's, and we need much more women there, much more ideas and support. But at the end of the day, I guess we should not talk as much about gender. It's, for me, talking about good managers and bad managers. And there are good women managers as Angela Merkel, and also there are bad ones. As of course, there, Ira, you and me also can find a lot of good and bad man examples.
Absolutely. So what are some of the practices? What would you say are the top ones that you would suggest that people adopt pretty quickly?
The first practice and the most important thing is about focus. I described a little bit the 80-20 rule, or the 80-20 principle, the Pareto principle there. This principle says, and it's a natural law, also comes true for business, that you have key employees, you have key clients, you have also key prospects and key products. And the mathematics say, and the law says, okay, 20% of your key employees, products, and also prospects makes 80% of the sales and 80% of the profits. So this is where you have to analyze your company, and you have to get together with your top management team and just to analyze, okay, what is the 80-20 in my company when it comes to customers, when it comes to market, when it comes to also to employees, and also marketing strategies. I mean, which channels we have to focus on. So this, I guess, is the first and also the most holistic recommendation I do have, really to focus, because nowadays managers and a lot of time company owners, they're not focusing enough on getting, for example, like the German companies, into a niche. In Germany, there are more than 1,500 niche companies, niche players, which are leading their market. There's no other country in the world who has more market leaders than Germany. So this is, I guess, where it comes all to, okay, focus on one product or on one service and try to be the best, with the best quality, with innovation, being relevant for your customers. And this is kind of the secret, as it's really simple, but it's the secret.
So your secret then, Thomas, is focus, focus, focus.
Yes.
So how is the U.S. falling behind in terms of employee well-being? Do you think it is?
When we talk about vacations in Germany, you have by law 20 to 25 days, paid days, vacations. Now, talking again a little bit about the power of the unions historically. And there are a lot of more benefits for the workforce when we talk about paid vacations, when we talk about social benefits, when we talk about insurance. So I guess what I have seen, the American companies have to adapt and have to change because nowadays I mean, hiring and also attracting talent gets more and more competitive, and so the companies kind of are forced to adapt new models.
For sure. So do you think it actually works for companies in the US to give unlimited time off? That's a whole different area. But many of our, what we think of as our most forward companies are giving unlimited time off.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have a sound balance, I guess. Also, I mean, to seeing also, I mean, the interest of the companies and the interest of the employees, but also it goes further. I mean, we have to focus not only on profits, but also on our employees, but also on our stakeholders. And nowadays, I mean, all the green and the circular economy trend. It gets also really important. So it gets kind of much more sophisticated to design a business model, and designing a business model that includes employees, planet, and also profits. So I guess when we talk about business strategy, it gets more holistic.
Great.
Yeah, I'm curious. Are you familiar with the anti-fragile, the fragile anti-fragility model at all from Nassim Taleb? Because when you're talking about quality, it talks about Six Sigma, lean. You know, again, squeezing out inefficiencies, mistakes. But a lot of companies, and especially, and that's that was my first impression when I hear about German companies, that they thrive and again known for high quality, but do they become fragile? You know, do they take out? They squeezed out all the inefficiencies, but then a pandemic hits. You know, how resilient? How do they rebound? How do they survive?
I mean, I guess, and this that does not only come true. For example, when I work for Adidas, also the important is that are the small and medium-sized businesses. Obviously, the big companies are somehow squeezing out and looking for productivity, but the most important companies in every country and the most important segment is the small and medium-sized segment. And
because
there,
that's
I guess,
where the growth is.
And there's growth, and actually, the small and medium-sized segment is the backbone of the German economy. And this backbone also in the U.S. economy, we have really to look for that. Not only the big companies change and giving more benefits to their workforce, more flexibility, but especially the small and medium-sized businesses. So I mean, it's a paradigm shift. It's a shift really not only for the big and the large companies, but more importantly, what I think for the small and medium-sized businesses.
So Thomas, we're getting close to the end here. We're running out of time. I want to make sure that we can let people know how to get the book. And I think, Joyce, we should probably change the name of the show to Just Scratching the Surface.
For sure.
So we do that. Thomas, your new book is Profitable Growth Strategies. Where can people get a hold of it?
You can find me on the homepage, profitablegrowthstrategy.com, and on LinkedIn, Thomas Michael Hogg, and really great to connect with you and your audience.
And Thomas, if we want to buy the book, is it available on your website?
Yeah, it's in Amazon. We have the audiobook also in Audible, so you can find the book, and hopefully I get some feedback.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, you'll definitely get some feedback, at least from me. I'll make sure. But yeah, I'm sure some of our listeners will go up, and I have the book, and it's an relatively easy read. So I encourage everybody to go get it. Thank you very much for taking time to come on the show. Appreciate it, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Thomas. Joyce. Bye.
Bye.
I'm serious. I think we should do Just Scratching the Surface. Which is we're again some great topics, and it's interesting. I didn't intentionally try to align these two, but they overlap. I mean, all our speakers have complemented the others quite well. Just a reminder, especially for the first segment, women re-entering the workforce, vital to the recovery.
Thank you.
Herman Trend Alert. Herman Trend Alert.
.com.
Subscribe. You'll get it in your mailbox. I assume to read today's. If you want it right away, you'll go up to the website. And also make sure you subscribe to Googlizationnation.com. Appreciate that. That you'll get updates about the podcast, this week's, last week's, other events like the webinar
that's coming up.
Yeah, actually,
we have another one's coming up, right?
April 3rd, April 13th. April 13th, you subscribe, you'll get information about that. We're going to be talking about the adaptability quotient, AQAI. You get an opportunity. That one is paid, but you get a reduced fee for it. And basically, we'll be talking about the results of that, helping you plan what you should do to that, whether it's in your career or your business. Final is make sure you go up and take the poll that we talked about, state of mind. Are you declining, coping, growing, or thriving? Appreciate that. One question takes you all of about 5 seconds to be able to do that.
We had some wonderful guests today.
We did. Thank you, Kate Richmond from Muhlenberg College, Director of Gender Studies there. Thank you, Thomas Michael Hogg, new author of the new book, Profitable Growth Strategies. Thank you, Ngomu, for allowing us to be on the air and Success Performance Solution. And until next week, don't let the shift hit your plans.